Welcome back to Faith and Fire. Today we have a fun episode for you. I'm sitting here with Charlotte. Hi, Charlotte.
Hey.
And we are going to play a little conversation card roulette. You ready to play with us?
Ready.
Okay. So the way this is going to work today, we are going to pull a card from our conversation cards that we've picked out. Now, girl, I didn't tell you this, but I picked out the spicy ones. I went through the whole deck and I pulled out the ones that were a little fun and interesting. I know you're excited.
I hope I'm ready for the spicy.
We got it. It's going to be picante. So we're going to pull a card. Whoever grabs the card, go ahead and we're going to read it first, and then we're going to ask the question, and we'll just talk about it, girl.
Okay.
I
didn't know I needed to bring Pepto-Bismol.
I know, right?
It's going to be
for
spicy.
All this spice. I think I learned from the last conversation card roulette that the yellow ones could be good ones. So let's see. Okay. What do you do when you have doubts about God or Christianity? This is what Ruby got. Okay. Doubts about God. I don't know that I've had specific doubts about God. I think I don't have doubts. I have questions.
Okay.
You know, like I don't know that I'm ever like, I'm doubting whether God exists or doubting whether God can or anything. I don't know. That's just not been part of my journey. But I got lots of questions, like how we do that, why we do that, when we do that, why you do that like all of those questions. And I definitely have questions about Christianity. Like, why do we do that like that?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to the church, all churches, and the tales of Christianity. So in my marketing world, you have the normal bell curve of consumption. So you've got the people who just the normal consumption of Christianity. And then you have the tales. You have the ones who are a little extreme on either end. The tales concern me.
Yes.
The tales of Christianity.
But every group has tales.
Every group has tales.
Every group.
Even furries. There's the normal consumption and then there's the tales. There's, or my marketing teacher said, the Twilight fans. There's the normal consumption and then there's the tales. So I'd say, again, it can be anybody, but that's where, I think that's how I'd answer that.
And unfortunately about the tales, a lot of the times, it's the ones who get the most attention because they're so extreme and passionate and loud. And so they give a bad light or a negative representation for that group, whatever that group is,
100%. I was like, why the crazy ones got to be the loud one? I mean, not crazy. If you're a tail, I'm sorry I called you crazy, but you're a little different.
Extremists.
Okay, extremists. Why do they have to be so loud? Can you be extreme and quiet? Extremely quiet. That would work.
Because even silence is still a response.
It is. Ooh. And you can still judge me with silence. You could be like,
You don't even have to do that. You just ignore.
Just
keep scrolling. Go on about your day.
All of that.
Unbothered.
These are all options. So how about you? What do you do when you have doubts about God or Christianity?
I don't know if similar to yourself, like not necessarily about God, but I'm often thinking about different religions, especially when you think about, all right, Christianity and slavery and how Christianity and the Bible was used to pretty much suggest that it should, or not suggest, but support slavery, right? And it was beat into a lot of slaves, right? You have to become a Christian, and not even just slavery, or not just slaves, but even in other countries, right? So I think about, I forgot the queen name, but she was in Spain, the Queen of Spain back in the day, and how she pretty much forced everybody to become a Christian.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Throughout the world. Yeah. And if you didn't become Christian, you either had to, you'll be exiled out of the country, or
exiled was the polite E-word I was thinking of.
Or, you're gone. Yeah. Off with your head.
Off with your head. Exactly. And that's an interesting one, because I have heard people kind of talk about that, like the religion of my oppressor is, I think, what I've heard people say. And I personally have never thought of it that way, but I totally resonate like with where that could come from, you know, of sometimes you want to explore. I mean, I'm a huge fan of questioning those things that are handed to you, right? And if you question what was handed to you and you trace it back and you realize, oh, it was only handed to me because it was forced down my ancestors' throats.
Yeah.
I could see where that may not sit well with you.
Right. And it just makes you question. And also, it makes me think like, okay, so just because I was born in the U.S. because of slavery.
Boy, it's got real deep.
So you're telling me just because I was born in the U.S. and had the opportunity to experience Christianity and to be exposed to Christianity, I'm supposed to be better than the next religion? Like my religion is, I'm not going to go to hell because I had the opportunity to be born in the U.S. and exposed to Christianity, compared to those who are in other countries or other parts of the world. Their main religion isn't Christianity, right?
Yeah.
You can be Buddhist, right? So you're telling me these people who practice Buddhism, they're going to hell because they're not a Christian?
These are all great questions. I feel like that's probably a question on one of these cards. It's so good.
So that's something that I do like think about a lot. Or Muslim, right?
Yeah.
So, and a lot of us in Africa before Christianity were Muslims.
Yeah.
So it makes me think about those things.
Wow. See, I told you these were spicy topics. It got deep on the first one. Oh,
Probably because I was thinking about it on my way here. Nah, just kidding.
You were thinking
No, I wasn't.
She in a car like slavery and Muslim religion, Buddhism. But the funny thing is, all of those religions are probably more similar than we care to admit.
Exactly. Exactly. A lot of the principles are still the same.
Yeah.
We just call it, different.
Call it different things. We have some different traditions, some different things, ways that we express our religion. And that's what Shari taught me. She is our modern spiritual yogi. And she taught me that, we have a lot more in common. Our first episode where we went and talked about what does it mean to be a person of faith. I learned, I didn't know what to expect, girl. My mom's a presiding elder. She was in the conversation with the spiritual yogi, and I was like, it's either going to be great or this is going to be weird. And I was so glad it was great and not weird, because weird doesn't sit with my soul. But everyone else would have enjoyed it if it was weird. I feel like everybody would have loved to see like a slow train crash on air.
Because it's spicy.
But it wasn't a slow train crash. It went really well. And we realized that, religions can have a lot in common. And it's really that 1% to 2% difference that we fight over the most.
Right.
Like, I'm going to do no harm differently than you're not going to do harm. And I'm going to harm you to show you that you should not do harm the way I don't do harm.
Hello.
So, okay. I went on a tangent. You want to pull the next card?
Oh, I guess I should. I'll keep going on that topic.
Okay. What you got?
Hopefully I have something that's not spicy yet.
It's red. It's literally a red card.
And it says hot. All right. Ooh.
Girl, read the question.
Well. Should pastors be held to a higher standard?
Oh, Lord, help us. You know that last week I was talking about being a PK. Okay. Go ahead and answer.
Should pastors be held to a higher standard in their personal lives?
Okay, what you think?
Well.
Tell me.
You really want to know?
I really want to know.
I think that a lot of people put pastors on a pedestal and have these high expectations of them. But they are human, just like you and I.
They are. Sometimes they drink wine at a karaoke.
Exactly. Or sometimes they do it every night. But they all
dealing with their congregants.
They struggle as well. And honestly, my thoughts on that, as a kid, I'll say this. My stepfather was a minister.
You were PK too?
My stepfather
okay.
at the time is no longer my stepfather.
Okay. We're not claiming him.
Well, we ain't. They not together no more.
From the cookout?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'm here.
And I know that he has struggles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And challenges. And from that experience, it made me think that maybe ministers and pastors have, I think they may get it worse than regular people.
I think so.
And I'm talking about like the devil testing them.
Oh, yeah.
And the temptation around things.
Especially
like
men.
Well, yes. The temptation is there, right? And you got to be real strong.
Mm-hmm.
And just, I think God tests them more than probably the average person. So I always say, I'm never marrying a pastor or a minister. I will not marry one of them. I don't need that in my life because I know that it's going to come with so many different temptations.
Yeah.
And no, I don't want to. So we'll go to the next person.
Yeah. Not your ministry.
Not my ministry.
Well, and it's interesting that you say that because there's also just an interesting dynamic, right, for men. In not only are they on this pedestal, but then while they're on that pedestal, all of the thirsty women see them. And
I wasn't even going to go there. Oh, we going there?
I mean, this is the place
there?
to go there. Hold on, let me go there first, and then we see if you need to go there more.
I going there. Okay.
Girl, I once sent a meme when we got appointed a male pastor who was under the age of 70, and I was like, girls at church be like, just thirsty. And it was the picture of like Beyonce in a pose, and she looked like she was about to pounce. That's exactly how they be. Like a new man at church. It don't even have to be the pastor. A new man at church, and they're ready to pounce. And it's like, ladies, I need you to calm down. And that, like, it's not even just being in that position of power, right? So now you're the main focal point. Women want you just because you have power. They assume that it comes with money. And catch this. One of my minister friends told me the other day, some women genuinely believe that if you marry a pastor, you automatically go to heaven. So they know that their thought lifestyle is not maybe the thing that they want for their lives. And they were like, you can fix it. And I had never thought about that. I had never considered that that was one of the options. And so they were saying, yeah, some women will chase and like pursue relentlessly. Because, I mean, if you thought that at the end of it, you were going to heaven no matter what, all of the things that you do to try to get there, all of a sudden you justify. You know?
Yeah.
So that's scary.
Wild. Yeah. I never thought about that. I never heard that.
I never heard it either, girl. I was like, where are they reading this? Is it in a book? Is it on TikTok? It's on TikTok, isn't it?
It's one of those verses we couldn't translate in the Bible.
I didn't see that in Matthew. Hold on. Is it in Mark? What about my homeboy Luke? It can't be John.
Or it was when the pastor was hooping. You know, he said in the sermon, we missed it.
I was going to get his inhaler because I thought he was having an asthma attack. So I didn't hear that part of the sermon.
Yeah, that's how you missed it.
Yeah. Okay. So now that I went there a little bit,
do I still want to go there?
Yeah. No, you good? Ooh, that's a long. Your eyes are saying something, and I feel like you want to tell everybody what your eyes are saying.
It's just, I think you said it already. Okay. Really, being a pastor, it comes with power, right? You all of a sudden you're elevated to this status, right? And a woman is looking to be with a partner that can provide for them, right? That's respected, right? So typically pastors are respected, right? And
until it comes out.
Until it comes out. And you get the title of First Lady. Ooh.
Now that title sounds heavy to me. I don't know why anybody would want that title, but I get it.
First Lady of the church.
Yeah.
Not second, not the First Lady of the church. You get that. Yeah. So that could be attractive and appealing. And now that you have so many women that are interested in achieving this position, they're throwing themselves at the pastor. And that's additional temptation. Bless their hearts. But they got to be strong.
Don't just bless their hearts. Pray for them. Pray for them.
Be strong.
Yeah.
Be strong.
Now, not all ministers, give in to temptation, but I cannot express how much I've seen out there in terms of the temptation that comes. Now, whether they yield to it or not is a whole nother conversation. But let's talk about women in the ministry, because my mom is a female pastor.
I love that.
I love it. As a matter of fact, she's a presiding elder.
Yes.
And she's doing a great job. She's a great leader. And it's interesting because she may not have that same temptation, right? But I would say people still put her on the pedestal. So it's not just that conversation, right? It's a bigger conversation of, if they saw her drinking or if they see her being human or anything, she doesn't even have to drink to excess. She could just be drinking a little of her dirty water, as she likes to call it. Little Stella Rosa.
Oh, the little Stella, the little bubbly.
Stella Rosa, a little
That's
bubbly.
pop. That's soda.
It's basically soda. It's like 6% alcohol. No one's getting drunk off of this unless they drink 2 bottles.
Right.
Little things. And I feel like we do hold people up to this higher standard in their personal life. So it's not like she in the pulpit drinking Stella Rosa, because that'd be weird. Like, maybe call her on that. That's not normal. And I'm pretty sure it's in there somewhere that you're not supposed to do that.
Why does your mug smell like that?
That's not right. But what if she wants to be human a little bit? Maybe she wants to go dancing one night. Maybe, maybe she's having a bad day and she doesn't show up the way she wants to show up one day. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And I feel like part of me having so much empathy for ministers is seeing my mom's journey from behind the scenes and knowing her as a human before I knew her as a minister.
She was mom.
She's mom, you know, and I know the good, the bad, and the otherwise. And I see her heart and I see what she pours in, and people do expect her to be superhuman, more so from an aspect of strength and resilience. They expect her to be an endless fountain for everything that they need. Yeah. And who's pouring back into her?
Hello.
Yes. I remember I used to drag her out of the church literally because otherwise she would keep pouring into other people. And I was like, look, you hungry, I'm hungry, we're leaving. Give me your hand. Let's go. But sometimes that's what it takes. You need somebody in your corner as a minister to be that person to look out for your needs.
Yeah.
Be that person to be that blocker sometimes. Like, okay, she's done now. Thank you. Thank you. Bless you. She'll pray for you later. And while there's not all, the time for that isn't always, right? But there is a time and space where we need to have those boundaries and even in the ministry, especially in the ministry, it's important to have those boundaries. And I think that we expect people to be superhuman and not need the same things that we need.
Right.
So,
no, that's good. That's good.
I love this deck. I love it.
I would say even expect for the pastor to be available to them at 24/7.
Yes.
And if, the pastor's sick, right?
Yeah.
How dare them be sick?
My mother just passed and I need somebody right now. It's like, okay. And they really care and they're really trying. But if you can't get a hold of them the first time because it's the middle of the night, maybe it wasn't personal. Maybe they were sleeping and they didn't hear their phone.
Yeah.
Like, it's just human.
Being a pastor, that's tough.
It's a calling.
It has to be, right? Because you're being pulled in so many directions. You have to find ways to balance, especially if you have little ones, you have a family, right? Other people are depending on you, but your family needs you as well. Yeah. So then you got the temptations because you got thirsties.
You said that and I instantly heard the music. I was like dancing. Temptations.
Yeah, you got the thirsties. So, it's just so many different levels of just, I guess, support in ways that we need to pray for our pastors and give them more grace.
If there's one thing to take from this conversation, pray for your pastor, y'all. I don't care who your pastor is and how well they behave. They need your prayers. The good
because
ones,
they're trying
especially.
To be strong for everyone else.
Everyone else.
Yeah.
So especially if they're single, they need your prayers. They're trying to be strong for everyone else, and there's no one there to be there for them.
Ooh, I would imagine that's rough. I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah.
The judgment.
That part.
The judgment, people probably gossiping.
Always.
Yeah.
So, okay. So this one was taken. Let's see. I kind of like the red ones. I'm feeling a little spicy. Let's see. Okay. Is the church allowed to turn away anyone or make anyone feel unwelcome?
Lord.
Oh, crap. I got to answer this first. Okay. I mean, by default, Faith and Fire, my answer is going to be no. No, it's not our place. Like, they showed up looking for Jesus. Don't let them find you instead and you turn them away. Like, this isn't even your house. What are you doing here?
Right. You're lucky that Jesus allowed you to walk through these doors.
Sir or madam, you are in my house. How you going to turn my guests away? What we doing here?
Right. Making them feel uncomfortable. Even thinking about, like, as I mentioned in the other episode, right? Technology and tithing and offering and making sure that even if you can't today, that's okay. And you're not going to be judged for not dropping a couple of dollars in the bucket.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting because I go to a predominantly Black church, and being in the AME church, I think one of the most important things is to show people that they're welcome no matter what they look like or who they are. And I love that my church does that. Is that they're very welcoming. We got, I think, like 3 or 4 gentlemen who showed up one time, and they had teardrop tattoos. And I was like, okay, let's see how this goes. Because Sister So-and-so, God bless her, but she's got some old ways. She's like that other kind of grandma that has memories of your ancestors and talks to you some kind of way. But they behaved so well. I was so proud of them. Matter of fact, one of the sisters so-and-sos went around and prayed with each and every one of the guests. Aww. And I thought that was beautiful. And I think that's how we should be, is just like unconditional love for whoever walks in the door. So.
Maybe they could see it. They could probably sense the energy that those individuals were walking in with, like just looking for that opportunity to be accepted and welcome.
Yeah. Just because I killed 1, 2, 3, 4 guys doesn't mean that I don't need Jesus.
I wasn't going to go there, but isn't there a difference between like a hollow teardrop versus one that's filled in? Like, there's different meanings.
There's everything you know about me in my life. Do you think I know that answer?
Allegedly.
Well, let's Google it later because I don't know. We're going to Google
maybe
it.
They're just sad always.
Tears of a clown.
Emo. Anyway.
I'm sure they were emo men, not gangbangers.
Right.
Whoever they were welcome.
They're just expressing themselves.
We gonna love you today.
Right. You don't have to be sad no more. Wipe them tears off your face.
Oh, you can't wipe it off? Okay. It's a tattoo.
Stop it. I cannot.
I feel like we both answered this.
Well, I would say, like, I don't understand. Okay. Not that I don't understand. But whenever my least favorite part about church, or one of them.
Tell me.
Is whenever we have to do like the introduction to everybody. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And not the introduction, but the fellowship. So when it's like, all right, let's take a moment and
you
say
don't like the hugging music?
No.
Oh, I love the hugging music.
You like that?
But I also have been at the same church for like almost a decade. Like, and so
like
this is like my family. I get a chance to hug.
But I think that's the difference. Like maybe because you already have a rapport established.
Yeah.
But when I'm visiting a church and I don't know anyone, it's just so awkward.
You don't want the strangers to hug you?
No, I don't want the strangers to hug me.
What are you wearing? What's on your hands? Don't touch me. I can see that.
And it's like you're going in to shake or hug and it becomes awkward because you don't know if they're going to receive it or if they feel awkward. So they back up. You just don't know what to expect. It's just,
I feel it now.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah. Okay. I can get where that would be
I'm
from.
like, can we skip this?
So let your pastor know that the hugging music is great for y'all, but maybe everybody else feels a little weird about that.
Yeah, hugging strangers. Even though they're supposed to be my family though, because we're in a church and we're together. But I'm not there yet. Let's just say I'm just visiting.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get back into the church, hypothetically,
Girl,
right?
that's your 4th cousin. It's your 4th, and you just met him.
Right. So yeah, that's just a thought.
Okay. That's a good thought.
All right. So you ready for me to pull on?
I'm ready.
I'm doing a yellow banana card.
Are you sure? Are you sure you?
I didn't know there was blue.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
It's the Tears of the Clown over there.
All right. I have stories.
Okay.
Let's see. Share one good thing that has come out of one of the stormiest seasons of your life.
Ooh, that's a deep one.
Very deep. Oh, did I just pop in the mic?
You said pop, lock, and drop it. For Jesus.
Wait, let me look at the question again.
Take a moment, think about it. Man, stormiest seasons. What's one of the best things that's come out of one of the stormiest seasons of your life? So you got to think of a stormy season, like a ship that's tossed and driven.
I try to forget stormy seasons. This was like, wait, I had one? No,
We're
I didn't.
Millennials. We're all about blocking out childhood trauma and then healing from it.
Right. Well,
You got one?
I don't think I have plenty.
Okay.
So this one is nice. So I remember applying for, and when I was in college, I applied to be a part of this like fellowship for the summertime. And I had been researching and learning about it for a couple of years. And I just knew like, all right, when it's my time, when I'm eligible, I'm going to apply. I'm going to go for this.
Yeah.
And so I did, and I got accepted.
Yay.
Okay, so what's part of this, what's included in this fellowship, you have to do research on a certain topic. You get a chance to take a trip to New York. You get a $5,000 stipend. Like, that's pretty good for a 20-year-old, you know?
Yeah.
So I was very excited. Unfortunately, that year, I received my very first D.
Oh, no.
Which kicked me out of the program. McNair Scholars. Have you heard of McNair?
I have. They're like really elite.
Yeah, McNair Scholars.
And
that was
normally D stands for diploma, but not for them.
No. The very first, only time I ever received a D, I received a D that semester. So they had to withdraw my acceptance into the program. And I was devastated.
Yeah.
Devastated, completely devastated. I was just crying. And as part of getting to the program, you have to have a professor to sponsor you. And I had to go and tell her, Professor Ramson, if you happen to see this, Professor Sarah Ramson, she was so sweet. I loved her to death.
Sorry, Sarah.
But she said, Charlotte, just like this. Did anybody die?
Ooh. Okay. She just gonna put it in perspective like that?
Did anybody die? Are you okay? Did anyone get hurt? Are you still breathing? You're fine, right?
Okay.
You'll be okay. Something else will come out.
I see you, Sarah. That's beautiful.
And so that made me feel so much better. And now to this day, I apply that to situations where I'm feeling stressed and upset. Am I still here? Am I alive? Am I hurt? I'm in a hospital?
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. It's going to work its way out, you know?
I love that.
So, yeah, that's my lesson.
At work, we used to say it's just chicken. I worked at a restaurant that sold chicken. I should probably share that.
Thank you.
I was a manager.
Okay.
And people would lose their minds. You would tell them something that takes 2 hours to cook was going to take 5 more minutes. And they were like, blah, and they just go crazy. And that was so wildly stressful, right? We used to go in the walk-in closet and yell and scream and then come back out all composed. And I remember our general manager said something similar. Also, he must have known Sarah. His name was Sean, though. He came to me and he said, it's just chicken. At the end of the day, no one's dying. We may have to throw away some extra chicken, or we may not have enough chicken, but at the end of the day, they may be freaking out, but it is just chicken. No one's this is not life or death here.
Yeah.
You're just making an estimate about how many birds someone's going to buy. And I was like, okay. And so now I still do that actually at work. They get real confused also. So I usually have to explain. I say, it's just chicken. Let me explain. And so when I do, it's like, it's not life or death.
Right.
No matter, well, no matter if you're a surgeon, it might not just be chicken, but especially not if you're working on me. It's not just chicken. Facts. It's my life. Fix it.
Facts. We're talking about non-medical.
Those are the rest of us. It's such a centering. I love that for you. I love that someone said that to you early on because it's so centering.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I don't know, I just picked myself back up after she said that. I was like, man, she's right. She's absolutely right. So I would love to say the very next year I applied and got accepted again. And no, that didn't happen.
I don't work like that.
It was over. That was my one shot because I was graduating from then, but I still graduated. And I bet you I never had another D in my life. Another D after that.
No more D.
No more D's.
So, okay. That was a good story. Had a good little lesson. I love it. Okay, let me see if I can dig down deep. As soon as you say a storm, was it a stormy season in my life? A difficult stormy season?
The stormiest season of your life.
I will say, I really was riding the struggle bus. So I had my son kind of young, not crazy young. Like I wasn't like teenage mom young, but I had my son midway through, like I found out I was pregnant maybe like a week or two before I started grad school.
Okay. And she had already graduated.
I had graduated, but I won't want to say at least I have because I'm not shooting on anybody else who may have their kids earlier because that's your journey, boo.
That's true.
I wanted to get married, have a white picket fence and 2.5 kids. That is not what happened. I found out I was pregnant and unmarried right before I started grad school. And I will say that was one of the darkest seasons of my life for me personally, but it was self-inflicted. I thought my life was over. I was like, okay, all the hopes and dreams everyone had for my life. No, well, I've ruined them. I've ruined my life. No one, all of these things going through your head. I broke up with my boyfriend at the time. So it was just me and I moved out on my own and I had this child coming. I was pregnant through my entire first year of my MBA. And then I had a newborn the entire second year of my MBA. My son was born 2 weeks before finals.
Wow.
Yes, rude. And so I had him on a Thursday. I showed back up at school on Tuesday and they were like, what are you doing here? I'm not taking managerial accounting again. If you think I'm taking this class again, you are incorrect. Scoot over. I'm sitting next to you on the finals.
Right. Where's the pencil? Where's the test?
My mom was outside in the car with my newborn as soon as class ended.
No, that's amazing.
It was. But honestly, that was so difficult. In my head, I was like, all my dreams are gone. I'm never going to get married. I'm never going to have the white picket fence. I've ruined my life. Like all of these self-doubts come in and it was devastating. But literally my son is the best thing to come out of that. I had a dream that in that dream, I called him Jalen. Only dream I had where I called him something in my entire pregnancy. So it became self-fulfilling prophecy, of course.
Of course.
So I named him that. And my mom was like, that means healer.
Oh.
And that's exactly what he did.
Wow.
And he's been healing ever since. He's healed relationships. I actually have a really good relationship with his dad and his stepmom. And his stepmom and I be going out for drinks and stuff. That's a whole nother conversation.
Girl, you drink?
Everybody's like, a lot. No, actually not a lot, really. But not because of any kind of shooting on myself. I just not part of my ministry most of the time. But I think that was a really bright spot. I got this really cool family. I was actually just at, he has a little brother and a little sister, not by me, on his dad's side. And I was just at his little brother's cute little concert yesterday at the school and sitting there with, so it was my son, his little brother and little sister, his dad, his stepmom, his grandmother, so his dad's mom, and then my mom. And we were all sitting together on a blanket watching the baby's concert.
Wow. I love that.
Who gets that? Who gets that kind of family?
I think it's a millennial family. It's a millennial family. It's what we do, you know. We do things a little different around here.
Yeah.
As a millennial, you know, but it works and you're happy. And that's what's so important. And it sounds like he healed that moment in your life where you felt damaged and you felt like you were alone. And I'm sure that was very scary.
Yeah.
But you were able to come through that and have your healer, you have your own personal healer, girl.
Personal healer. It was amazing because I remember so clearly how I felt in that moment. And it's hard to imagine now. Like, I'm very blessed, and I own multiple businesses. I have a really good job, and I get to live the life I want to live every day. Mm-hmm. I did not see that as a possibility in that moment. In that moment, I genuinely thought everything had been ruined and my life was over. I had let down everyone in my life, and it was irreparable. And I remember that feeling from the pit of my soul. And just to see where I am now, if I could have just showed that girl a glimpse of what was ahead of her, it would have just meant the world. It would have given me the hope that I needed to go on. And I'm grateful that I found it in other ways, but like, it's crazy.
It brought out that hustle in you, probably. Hustle. And honestly, it's probably, you may not have had this future if it was not for that experience. And not even just experience, but having your own personal healer. Yeah. Like, you would not have worked as hard as you do today if you did not have Jalen, right? Jalen is a part of you. It's a part of your story. You're a beautiful woman because of Jalen. Yeah. So...
that experience changed my life in a number of different ways that one day I will unpack in terms of little things. Like, I'm at the job I'm at today because I didn't want to do an internship because I just had a newborn. So I didn't apply for anything. But then my stepdad at the time, he got me an interview with his company, and I was like, fine, I'll go to it. But just because you already committed to it, and integrity is like my number one value, and I don't want to, have you let down your boss. Yeah. So I went to it thinking I'm not getting an internship. And, I got an offer, and then I saw how much it was, and I said, where would you like me to show up?
Look at God.
Yes. And I've been at that company ever since.
Yes. That's awesome.
So to wrap a little bow on that one, the ministry moment. Before I wrap the bow, hold on, let me
always have something to add. My bad. I'm sorry.
No, you could.
But I really want to know. So I guess at what point of your journey did you feel like, you know what, I'm going to be okay?
That's a hard one. I think it was slowly over time, it was literally just taking it one day at a time. And if you're waiting for that moment where you're like, okay, it's going to be okay, then it probably already is. Like, it's not going to be an encouraging thought where you realize and it's still ahead of you. It's probably in the rearview mirror, and it's been okay for a while. But it just kind of snuck up on me. You get through that day, and then you get through the next day, and then you get through the next day, and you get through the next day. And then eventually you look up and you're like, oh, I've survived a long time since past that moment where I thought everything was over.
Yeah. Yeah. That's made faith.
Yeah. Your faith is so important, even in the darkest of times, especially in the darkest of times. So I think that would be my bow, right? It doesn't matter how dark the situation seems. There's a reason for it. It's leading towards something. It's part of your journey in a way you can't even imagine. And so be in that moment. Figure out what it is in this stormy season that you need to learn. Is it that you need to learn that, it's just, no one's dying, it's going to be okay. And that's how you need to ground yourself every time. Or maybe in that moment, you need to just be with the fact that your healer is coming to join you, So whatever it is for you in that moment, you just be in that moment and be like, okay, God, like, it seems pretty stormy. What you got? You have something for me. I know.
Right.
What is there for me to learn in this moment?
Yeah. And I guess for those who are listening, as you're going through your journey, do not be afraid to stop and reflect. As I mentioned a while ago, before I started, it's like, I try to not think about those times. But it's also important to reflect on those times, just to even give yourself kudos on, how much you've grown and what you've learned. Like, you, like I said a while ago, you're an amazing woman, you're an amazing mom, amazing daughter, right? And that experience is what helped you to get there.
Yeah, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, this was fun. We're going to have to play more Conversation Card Roulette some other time.
Yes. Are we, we're done?
Yeah, girl.
How?
You said how? I want to keep going.
We got more cards.
She said, you don't do all the cards. Those are the options.
I haven't even hit the blue card yet.
So we're going to save the blue card for next time.
All right. Okay, blue card, I'm coming to you.
Coming
for you next.
Well, thank you.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
Well, we hope you had fun with us as we played a little Conversation Card Roulette. I mean, there are some D moments in there. If you enjoyed this conversation and you want to join us for more conversations, the full length version, be sure to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and join us next time for another episode of Faith and Fire. See ya.